Today is Thursday, June the 18th, and this is our weekly COVID-19 update briefing. As of this morning in Bossier Parish, we have 528 positive cases of the COVID virus and unfortunately 28 deaths. Our goal remains to continue to move in towards phase 3, which hopefully the governor will be able to announce on June 26th or just prior to that we have met the criteria to move in to phase 3. Our guidance while we're still in phase 2 remains the same, and we need to repeat it every opportunity so that we all know what we should be individually doing to help meet the criteria to move into phase 3. These include such things as vulnerable individuals should continue to shelter in place. And vulnerable people, of course, people with age 65 or older, and individuals with serious underlying health conditions such as high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, chronic lung disease, asthma, and compromised immune systems. And the CDC periodically puts out a couple other symptoms that may be appropriate. When in public, places such as parks, outdoor recreation areas, and shopping areas, social settings of more than 50 people should be avoided. And non-essential travel can resume. Employees should continue to encourage telework where feasible and practicable. Employees should also close common areas where it is difficult to enforce social distancing. And employees should consider special accommodation for the vulnerable population. We're now in a period of increased testing. The governor's goal is 200,000 a month, and we are exceeding that. And of course, we are getting more positive as a consequence of that and other reasons. Our 3 neighboring states have had significant increases, and what happens to our neighbors affects us. So we got to you'll see more emphasis on contact tracing, and we asked all citizens to support this research when they're contacted. From the governor's last proclamation to us on this important subject, we learned the following things: that bars and breweries can operate at 25% of seated occupancy if they have a Louisiana Department of Health permit. Pool halls and tattoo parlors can open, but with strict sanitation and time limits. Commercial swimming pools, massage facilities, spas, food courts and malls, skating arenas, and event centers can open with restrictions. Similarly, restaurants, cafes, and coffee shops can continue to operate with restrictions. Beauty shops, salons, and barber shops are allowed to operate, also with restrictions. Outdoor amusement parks and sleepaway camps will remain closed. Schools and organized youth activities such as daycare and camps can reopen. Visits to senior care facilities and hospitals should be prohibited. Large venues such as sit-down dining areas, movie theaters, sporting venues, places of worship can operate under moderate social distancing. Elective surgeries can resume on an outpatient basis, and gyms and fitness centers can remain open at 50% occupancy and with strict distance and sanitation protocols. Casinos and video establishments can operate at 50% of capacity and at 75% of their gaming devices, but they have to have prior approval from the Louisiana Gaming Control Board. It's been determined now through experience that the COVID virus is more likely to spread through the air in close contact with other individuals on a protected basis. So the wearing of masks is strongly encouraged, as well as continued good personal hygiene, social distancing, and restrictions on facility occupancies. Businesses can get more information on occupancy and related things by contacting the State Fire Marshal Office, and that website is opensafely.ls.gov. They can, and also our fire department can assist with that, and Chief Sagone will touch on that when he makes his remarks. Non-essential businesses open in phase 1 can continue, but now increase up to 50% of occupancy, but maintaining strict social distancing. And I might point out that the 50% includes employees as well as customers. Businesses and churches who have employees that work with the public should wear face coverings or cloth masks at all times. And with the exception of gaming establishments, no business or church is required to get a permit to open, but it's strongly recommended so that you can get the latest information applicable to your particular business. And if you wish to register, you can do so by contacting opensafely.la.gov. It's important that regardless of what phase we're in, the following things must continue to be done during all phases. And they are: wash or sanitize hands, avoid touching face, sneeze or cough into the elbow, wear a face mask in public or in mass transit, stay home when you feel sick, and follow the guidance of your medical provider. As a reminder, the following non-essential business remain closed to the public. These include amusement parks, splash pads, water parks, arcades, fairs, festivals, children's play centers, indoor play centers, theme parks, concerts, and music halls. And at this time, I'd like to ask our two public safety department heads to give you their remarks. And Chief Sagone, you're now up.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to all the healthcare providers, firefighters, policemen out there on the front lines. As the mayor said, if you need assistance with occupant load of your business, call 741-8704. That's the fire prevention office. We'll be more than happy to assist you in figuring out anything to assist you in getting open or figuring out your occupant load of your business. The only other announcement I have today is we have partnered up with LSU Health and Science Center. We are doing testing, mobile testing at Bossier High School today from 9 to 11. So if you would like a test, please come by. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I'd also like to thank the first responders and the medical community for being on the front line during this time. I'd also like to thank the citizens of Bossier for continuing to adhere to the guidelines set forth by the federal government and state government as well. I would also like to still encourage people to try to conduct business with the police department via telephone or email. But if you do specifically have a need to come to the police department, if you can call and make an appointment, that would also be encouraged. But if you have an emergency situation, by all means, the police department is open to facilitate whatever needs you have. I'd also like to still encourage people to be mindful about scams during this time. If you feel like you're being targeted, obviously don't give out any personal information, social security number, anything such as that, no bank account information. And if you feel that you're being targeted, you can call 741-8605 and report that to our white collar division. Thank you.
Yesterday, the governor announced that we must all continue these preventive actions we've talked about previously. Unfortunately, all too many people are ignoring the warnings about social distancing and not wearing masks, and there's been I think some 20 to 22 states have had a significant uptick in the number of positive cases. Louisiana is still doing well, but we cannot reduce our attention to these details on preventive actions. The information that I've had access to seems to indicate that the main culprit in the spread of this disease is close-up personal-to-person contact over any extended period, that being 15 minutes or more as the general guidelines. So just as has been stated, continue to follow the federal, state, and local guidelines. this horrible problem is going to be with us on even into the fall. We're not getting out of it. It's going to stay with us, so we just simply must continue these preventive actions. We expect the governor hopefully be able to announce on the 26th of June that we in fact meet the criteria to move to phase 3. Usually a day or two before that, the governor has a press conference which will give us some feel for what he will intend to include in his proclamation. But past procedures are indicative of what we can expect. We will get a proclamation hopefully on the 26th, moving us into phase 3. So that will conclude our briefing today, and our next scheduled briefing will be Thursday, June 25th. And thanks to all.